I have spent the last year of my degree studying and researching African American identity depicted through the poetry of Langston Hughes. With the events that have occurred over the last few days and throughout history, it has hit me how relevant my research is for today. I offer up this video as my little part in being a vocal support and bringing some hope. This was the original draft of Langston Hughes' 1920s poem, Militant.
Your spit is in my face, and so my fist is clenched. Too weak, I know, but longing to be strong, to strike your face.
It seems to reflect the general attitude up to now, but what we are currently witnessing is a turning point. This is the final draft, which I believe is more in line with how people are feeling right now.
Let all who will eat quietly the bread of shame. I cannot, without complaining loud and long, tasting its bitterness in my throat, and feeling to my very soul it's wrong. For honest work you proffer me poor pay, for honest dreams your spit is in my face, and so my fist is clenched today to strike your face.
100 years later, and not much has changed. As a person in an advantaged position, both by my race and class, I have a responsibility to speak. But first, let me say that we need to listen to and make space for our BAME brothers and sisters. We cannot shout louder than them. We have to be the underlying chorus elevating their voices. People in power tell the black community who and what they are allowed to be, and they try to convince the white masses of this lie. These stereotypes are used to marginalise and oppress. Why? The powerful are afraid of losing their power.
When justice is done, it brings joy to the righteous, but terror to the evildoers.
To maintain power involves the persuasion of the greater part of the population, particularly through media. We need to be critical of the media, the news, TV, movies and music. Be critical of institutions like government and law enforcement. They are currently ruled by people who benefit from the oppression of others. People in positions of power exploit the human need to survive in order to dictate the behaviours and attitudes of those they are meant to serve. We can see the US police doing this as we speak. They are using people's fear for their lives to enforce a system that is oppressive.
That justice is a blind goddess, is a thing to which we black are wise. Her bandage hides two festering sores that once, perhaps, were eyes.
Lady Justice is blind. Is it because of impartiality, or because of the vice of powerful men of justice hiding the truth? The powerful have brutalised Lady Justice, resulting in what we have seen throughout history: countless black bodies brutalised by the police and those with power.
I do not hate you, for your faces are beautiful too. I do not hate you, your faces are whirling lights of loveliness and splendour too. Yet, why do you torture me? O white strong ones, why do you torture me?
It is not only race and gender discrimination, but also class disadvantage from historical enslavement that has created the foundation of the majority of the West. Why do you think poor communities are majority BAME? The people in power made it that way. Capitalism is the material base of racism, which allows it to exist as other than a bad idea. People in power constantly use profit to excuse racism and oppression. We can see this happening in the protests. Damaged property and business, aka profit, are deemed more important than human lives.
Poverty, however, and frustration have made some of them too desperate to be decent.
I'm going to bring Jesus into it now, because I believe he is the best example of how to take action. Jesus got angry. He destroyed public property when he saw corruption. He flipped tables in the temple. He saw injustice and got righteously furious. Read Matthew 21 verse 12 to 13 or John 2 verse 13 to 17.
My Lord ain't no stuck-up man. My Lord, he ain't proud. When he goes a-walking, he gives me his hand. You, my friend, he loud. My Lord knowed what it was to work. He knowed how to pray. My Lord's life was trouble too, trouble every day. My Lord ain't no stuck-up man. He's a friend of mine. When he went to heaven, his soul on fire. He told me I was gwine. He said, sure, you'll come with me and be my friend through eternity.
Hughes acknowledged that Jesus stands with his children, and right now Jesus is calling us to stand with our black brothers and sisters across the globe. We have to look to Jesus in times like these. I encourage you to read Matthew, Mark, Luke or John if you are feeling tired, hurt and angry. There is peace in Jesus and encouragement to keep fighting for justice.
Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted.
There is a constant cultural and emotional terrorism directed at the non-norm, but
a friend loves at all times.
To be a true, godly friend, we must speak out against the racism we witness. The Bible calls us to
learn to do right, seek justice, defend the oppressed.
We cry among the skyscrapers, as our ancestors cried among the palms in Africa. Because we are alone, it is night, and we're afraid.
Hughes wrote this 100 years ago, and it is heartbreaking to know that this feeling is still shared by black people today. But you are not alone. We stand with you, we support you, we love you. Black Lives Matter. We can no longer deny black experience. People's lives are at risk. It is the responsibility of those with advantage and power to tell the truth. We have to dismantle the system that only we benefit from. I implore you to be on the side of righteousness. We all need to be a little more like Langston Hughes, a voice crying for justice for all humanity. And we all need to be a lot more like Jesus, letting justice and mercy flow from our mouths and letting grace and compassion flow from our hearts, because black lives always matter.